Oh, they're all moving now. Hang on, I got a thing in front of my visual. I can't see anybody right at the moment. All right, let's see. Where are my eyes going to wander? Ooh, we have 2 pages. Amanda Huff, you were the first one that I was drawn to, so I guess I'm gonna go with you. You are the winner.
I don't readily see Amanda, but Amanda, you can unmute yourself if you can.
I'm
And,
unmuted.
and give us your date of birth.
It's May 12th, 1981.
May 12th, 1981. And do you have a specific question or area to look at, or do you want to just see what your angels and guides have to say?
I do. I'm interested in love and career.
Love and career. All right. Well, let's spirit guide what comes out here. But I'm gonna let Kathi jump in and go first.
So Amanda, the first thing I'm getting is I'm being drawn to your career. I'm feeling as though that they're talking about you like knowing where you want to go, but having a little issue with, I won't say fear, but fear is probably a part of it. Is sort of having the trust and faith and sort of evolving. I know that you've been sort of trying to create part of that because you know you're an empath, you know you're a healer, and I'm presuming you know you're a psychic. So I'm just gonna say that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I gotta change my view so I can see just you. Hold on one second. I'm gonna put you on so I can see. There you are. Just so I can hyper focus on you because you keep jumping around the screen. So yes, you understand that part.
Yes.
Okay.
Just recently,
and I know that,
yes.
and I know that you're trying to evolve onto that path. I do know that learning is still happening for you. Like you're still taking, whether it's recording classes, learning with people. Like I know that you're trying to evolve into that. Does that make sense? The interesting thing with you is I keep getting for you to go into the healing aspect first, and then the intuition will come through that. Like that's what I keep getting. So I don't know if you're trying to learn Reiki or another modality. That's tends to be the first modality that always comes to me. But I don't know if you've tried learning Reiki, but it will help to expand your intuition. It will help to expand your intuition, and then it's going to help be easier. I think your intuition's spot on, so I'm going to say that up front. But there's something about getting past a hurdle with your intuitive part. Like a lot of us tended to close it down when we were younger, so I'll just say that. But I keep getting like there's fear there, a little bit of fear there when it comes in because you've seen things or known things that you really would prefer not to. Does that make sense? And so there's a lot of you sort of allowing yourself to kind of come through the healing, and it's going to slowly and gently move you into that aspect of the intuition becoming smaller, the intuition becoming smaller, bigger, the intuition coming into alignment with you, if that makes sense. There's also, so I'm going to kind of, this is how I work. It's like, I always joke and say, welcome to Kathy's version of ADD psychic abilities, because they tend to just like move me through. So bear with me.
Okay.
So they're spirits talking about love. They're like zipping over to love for you. And they're talking a lot about you sort of becoming into more knowingness of who you are in order to send you the correct or right person that you're going to spend time with. I know that you've got a little bit of time before you're going to meet that person. So I'm going to say that. It doesn't mean that we're not going to date in the interim. It doesn't mean you're not going to find other people to come and sort of connect with you, but I feel like you've got a little bit of time there. And it's really you working, like continue to work on you. There's also something about your love life that you have to get past a hurdle in your love life as well. Seems like hurdles seems to be a big thing for you right now. Like you are trying to work through them, but I want to tell you, like, I kind of want to be supportive for you and say, just keep working because you're doing a good job. It's just you almost get to that part when it comes to love, you get to that very trying and scary part for you, and you tend to retreat instead of like busting through the door, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so they're talking about like, just keep going. And remember that I think the important thing to remember that they're telling me is that you don't have to bust through the door and know it all, like all the answers and all, because there's something that you're not seeing or remembering. And so they're talking about like, it's okay. Like you don't have to know it all. Just get sort of the feeling of it and the awareness of it, and then make peace with it, like kind of be able to move past. If they truly want you to see it and know it, then spirit will bring it to you. But you need to be ready for it. That's the only thing, Sometimes if we ask, we do receive, and then we're kind of like, well, I kind of wish I didn't know that. We're
Mhm.
kind of like, oh, yeah. So allowing yourself to build that strength, build that nourishment, like keeping yourself open to knowing, trusting and believing that you're going to evolve from that. There's also something about bluebirds with you. I keep seeing bluebirds around you, so I don't know if that's a connection for you, but I'm just going to give that to you. And not blue
Okay.
jays, but bluebirds. As a matter of fact, it's kind of funny because I will even show you the card that I got. And of course, I cannot see myself, which does not help
Mhm.
much. Hang on, I'm going to flip the screen so I can see myself. Oy, oy, oy. It's always like flipping back and forth. There we go. So I can make sure I'm holding this card so you can see it.
I can see it.
But that's a lot of who you are, that beauty and the connectedness of who you are. You have such a great connection with the world, like the energetic connection. It's like if you can allow it to not overwhelm you and focus
Mhm.
more beyond that, like between the trees and the voices and the connectedness that you'll hear between animals and land and the beauty of nature. I think that's very important for you. You being out in nature is very important for you, like walking,
Mhm. All
nourishing
the
your mind,
time.
your body, your spirit,
Yeah.
your soul. Yeah, there's a lot. But listen when you're out there. Like even take a minute, sit down on a bench, sit on the lawn, and just close your eyes and just listen. Like just listen to what you hear, what you see, what you feel. Like take it all in. It's a lot of learning for you.
Okay.
Sometimes it can get very overwhelming, but if you allow yourself to
Mhm.
listen and kind of piece through things, it's going to be very profound for you. And
Okay.
that interconnectedness that you have with everything, as we all do, that you have with everything out there, and every energetic landline, ley line, chakra, everything, like you're interconnected with it all. And I think at this point it feels a little overwhelming to you because you're
Mhm.
opening up quickly. And so it's sort of like just taking a moment and like allowing yourself to be with it. Be
Okay.
with that feeling, be with that sense, be with that emotion. You're going to learn so
Mhm.
much instead of like getting fear, like we get afraid and then we're like, oh, I'm pushing it away. It's not going to be the same experience that you've had that had you shut it down back in the day. It's not
Mhm.
going to be the same.
Okay.
So if you can get past that mental thinking of like, okay, I'm evolving, spirit wants me here, they're going to work with me. And building that connection is so important for you. The love piece is, I'm going to say, sort of on the back burner right now. You finding love. I think you're starting to find love within yourself more and more every day, and I think that's really, really important for you. But the interesting thing when I think of love, I look at this card, and I don't tend to look at all of these, so just like all of it. But
Mhm.
Canadian geese are very profound for love for me, for your question, because Canadian geese, they only have one love. If something happens to that one love, they mate for life. There's never another person. There's never another person. There's never another goose that comes back in.
Okay.
So it's very profound. So you want to wait until you have that profound connection. And I will tell you, when your connection comes in, there will not be a doubt in your mind because you're going to
Okay.
know this person with every ounce of your being. You're going to connect with this person like you've never connected with anyone because your past life love is coming into view for you. And it's going to be
Okay.
very profound and very huge.
Okay.
So that's why they want you to kind of keep working on the fear part, keep getting past those fears, those old connectedness, that old um scary, like, because you're putting everything sort of in the same category and they want you to like erase that category and
Okay.
work through the fear. I'm a big one for walking through fear. It had happened, believe it or not, that was my thing I was doing when we went into COVID, and I was like, oh, well, that was very profound for me to say I'm going to walk through fear now. So
Mm.
yeah, so it's a lot of you doing that. When I get afraid by something, I take a minute and look at it and say, okay, what am I meant to learn from this? What am I meant to see here? Because I'm very visual. And how am I meant to walk through this? And is it right for
Okay.
me? So a lot of those questions and comments, take the time with it. Don't push it away. We tend to, like, when we hit that fear, we tend to push it away and be like, oh, we retreat. We retreat
Mhm.
usually is what happens. But take a minute. Take a minute and look at it. So I think you're
Okay.
gonna find some amazing information for you. You're on an
Okay.
amazing evolution. You really are. You're on an amazing path that's gonna evolve you and shift you and change you. And once
That's
you
good to know.
get that connection, it's gonna go so fast for you. So hang in
Okay.
there. And if you
Thank
need
you.
anything, Colleen and I are always here. So,
Okay.
you know, you can always reach out to us. We'd be happy to help.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So I'm gonna mute myself so Colleen can come on in.
Okay, as is so often the case, I agree with so much of what Kathi was saying and bringing through. You come in, Amanda, with this high spiritual vibration. Like I feel like which is interesting because Amanda, like I look at name vibration too, and Amanda is such a strong name full of independence and leadership and take charge and, initiation. And yet this energy that you come in with is very like spiritual and a little bit more internal sometimes. You have a lot of spiritual gifts. And I look at the cycle of energy that the soul is in too. And you just had a birthday not too long ago. So happy belated birthday. But
Thank
you
you.
entered this cycle where it's not a hugely action oriented year. You might have been feeling the last couple of months since your birthday, this kind of internalization, this more silent self reflection, this need for more quiet or alone time. And it's almost like a very yin energy. It almost feels sometimes like it's an inactive energy. And it doesn't mean we can't take action, that there's nothing happening in the outer world. That's not the case. But Kathi mentioned something, and I might be paraphrasing it, but this is a cycle of energy where it's about soul evolution and growth and connecting with your deep inner soul wisdom and really magnifying your spiritual abilities, using that sense of trust and faith, and again that divine surrender to the plan and all that stuff that we talked about in the beginning. That's the cycle that you're really in. This is a cycle of learning, growing, evolving, and it comes through for you like there is a lot of activity like externally around you. Like, I
Hmm.
feel like events are like really kind of shaking up. It's like, I don't know, you're in the center, trying to be like in the core of the eye of the storm, and all of this stuff around you is like being shaken up. And some of it has to do with maybe relationship stuff, people that you're connected to. Um, some of it has to do with just, again, the fluctuating ebb and flow of circumstances and situations. All the while, you're left with, what's going on, why is this happening, this isn't making any sense. And you'll feel this as you go throughout this birthday year cycle, because you just began it, so there's quite a few months for it to kind of unfold yet for you. But when I was asking about your career, um, they were talking about an energy of really uncovering who you are authentically are. Like, what is your authentic truth? And that's part of the aspect of this particular birthday year for you. It's like peeling away the layers of the onion that surround Amanda to get to the core, the jewel of who I really am, what I really want, what do I really desire, what do I expect in life? And so they're saying to be more authentic, to speak more authentically, to, again, get in touch with, or a stronger association with your higher soul self of what it is that you really want. As I mentioned earlier, it can be a year of the mystical and the magical, or at least this is a time period of the mystical and the magical. And they brought that up for you in relation to like career. They were saying that like divine magic is at work right now. And so the divine magic is happening behind the scenes, where again, you can't necessarily see it or feel it tangibly. This particular birthday year cycle is like trying to put together pieces of a puzzle to see the whole picture when there's missing pieces. Like you got missing pieces to the puzzle, and not everything is making sense all the time. So that's why your angels and guides are gearing you towards more just trust and faith. There's a divine plan and divine timing behind that plan that's occurring. So I feel like well, this is a great time, they're saying, for spiritual study, reading, taking, classes or workshops like this, or going to events that are uncovering your spiritual gifts, or, reading articles about it. They're saying that your angels and guides are guiding you as far as the career path. And they're talking about, is this about the relationship? Like I'm trying to ascertain between relationship and career here. So I feel like they want to shift, just like they were with Kathi, they want to shift to relationship for a minute. because they're talking about uncovering certain fears. You have this aspect of go with the flow with you, but you are a Taurus, and Taurus sometimes can get very fixed or fixated on certain patterns or ways of looking at things. And so
Mhm.
they're wanting you to look at, just like Kathi was talking about, any fears that you have in regards to relationship. And maybe this is also fears about changing in the career path as well. They are talking about having certain ideas that you're attached to that maybe now there's a need for evolution and growth from those old ideas, those old perceptions, those old subconscious patterns. Um, because there's a rebirth that's occurring for you, a spiritual rebirth that's going to affect both your career and your relationship. And they're talking about having the courage to change. This is back to relationship, having the courage to change old patterns or ways of viewing something, or maybe even the courage to change situations if you're currently in some sort of situation, either with a romantic other or even maybe with a circle of friends, or maybe this is even within career. It's like the more you can take that fixed, stubborn energy of Taurus and start in little steps making some changes. And this can be small changes at first with your routines in the morning, or, you know, the ways you drive to certain events or stores. It's like, let's change the routines and let's take small steps, because that's going to lead to bigger steps unfolding with career and with relationship. So creating new patterns is important. And I agree with Kathi, this isn't necessarily the year that a new relationship is going to come in. If you're in
Mhm.
a relationship, I can see patterns within
I'm
that
not.
relationship shifting and
Nope.
changing. Okay. So
Mhm.
this is more of, again, a spiritual growth year and a year to connect with your inner divine, authentic truth. But there's magic, you know, happening in the career, as they were talking about. There's a rebirth occurring within like relationship. And this is going to be a huge, like by the time you get to your next birthday, you're going to look back and think, wow, look at how far I've come within this last year from a spiritual growth and evolution perspective, and how that has um, assisted me in shifting and changing certain patterns that leads to new growth in career and leads to new growth in relationship or love matters. So that's all I got for that.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You are very welcome. All right, so I'm going to choose. Okay, I feel like Jan's popping out at me. So Jan, if you want to unmute yourself and give me your date of birth.
April 9th, 1973.
April 9th, 1973. And do you have a specific question, or just see what your angels and guides have to say?
I think I'll leave it open and ended, and see what needs to come through.
All right, awesome. I'm gonna hand it over to Kathi.
Okay. So the first thing that I'm getting for you, Janice, is sort of to find your true authentic self. Like that's a lot. Like I feel like you're on that path, so I'm going to say that. And I do feel like we're getting like a bit of applause there, so I will say that as well. So I don't know if you've been fighting in the past and haven't really found yourself like hyper focusing on it, or if you've stepped back. I feel like there's something you need to continue to do. And the interesting thing is I feel like there's quiet time. Like I keep feeling like quiet time. Like, so I don't know if you used to meditate at some point or do some type of meditative process for yourself, but they want you to come back to that and sort of evolve that a little bit. Does that make sense? Or have you switched it up and gone in a different direction? Because I feel like they want you to go back to the original.
That does make sense.
Okay. Because that's a lot of what I'm getting is sort of like finding that there's also something that tends to, so the first thing I heard was I heard that you're here for your voice. Totally can understand that. So a lot of like finding your voice and wanting to be heard. But then it gets to the point to where then we're heard and it's sort of like, oh my gosh, somebody heard me. I'm going to step back for a minute. Like I'm going to be like, that was too soon, like too fast, too quick, too big, too big. And so they're talking about like pushing through that sort of, they keep showing me like a ticker tape, like when you're at the end of a race and you run through that, like that tape. I don't even know what that's called, but the finish line. They're talking about like you keep going with that. The other thing too that I keep seeing is I keep seeing like a hawk for you, which is interesting because this card came out for you, which I'm hoping you can see this. They're very shiny cards, but it's like this gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous red tail hawk. But then of course you have the goddess that has like the feathers in her hair and really sort of like aligning yourself in belief that you can fly. So funny. I knew songs were going to come in today. I've been singing all morning. So the song I Can Believe I Can Fly. I believe I can fly. You know that song. Not going to sing it all. But however, um, you know, allowing yourself to soar higher, allowing yourself to think bigger, allowing yourself to come into the essence of who you are bigger. Like now is your time. Bring it, and just like show everybody what you can do. And I also feel like around you, they're swirling like a bunch of naysayers in some ways. So I don't know if that would be your family or your family line of where you come from. Like you're doing what? You can't do that. Blah, 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 blah. Well, girl, you're preaching to the choir because that's exactly where I came from. But then stepping into your power and saying, this is who I am. I'm going to do this. I don't need your opinion. I don't need your approval. I'm going to do this. And getting past that and really standing in your power. And I know you're like a little there because it keeps showing me like you're a little bit there. You're a little bit trusting in that, but they really want you to go full force in this. There's also something about, I don't know what you do for work, but there's something about a shift in your job. So I know that you're not caring, like you don't want to stay where you are. And so there's a shift that's coming for you that will make it easier for you to learn, because I know that your evolution is going to be on this path. So does that make sense to you?
Yep.
Yeah.
It does.
You're going to have evolution, and I know that you're going to keep going in the interim. It's almost like this will be your side hustle for a while. So there's this feeling of like changing the job so that you can have more clear thinking, so that then when you're learning, you can really be all in learning because your daytime job is easier and easier to handle, not so stressful. You're a healer, you know that, right?
I have been told that over the
Very
years,
much so.
multiple readers like you.
Very much so. And you're very animal connected. The
Yeah.
biggest thing I would tell you is learn healing, but learn healing for the sense of animals. So even if you were going to learn Reiki, I mean, I work on a lot of animals, you know, even long distance, I work on a lot of animals because I love animals. So I'm just going to say that, but you're very connected to animals, and it's going to make you easier, sort of like what I had said to the first person. It's going to make you easier to come into things for you by focusing on animals. People tend to be your sort of, at this point in time, because I'll just put it that way, a little bit of your nemesis. Like you get too overwhelmed and too afraid to tell people things. So do it for animals. You know, connect with animals, build your conversation with them. I know you already hear them because it's always here, because I'm an animal communicator as well. So yeah, because I can feel that. I can feel that energy. So go there. Do everything you want for there. It's going to evolve into not just animals. You will find your human sense through that process for you. And your voice is going to become very, very profound and very clear. They keep showing me you standing up and being like a prophet to some degree, to where you're going to be preaching words of wisdom, not preaching. I probably should not have used that word, but you know, being a channel for the spirit that flows through you. And there will be a lot of animal connectedness to that. So it's going to be very profound for you. Incredibly, incredibly profound for you. It's interesting. The light card that came up for you was Dharma. And the interesting thing is when I looked at this the first time without reading the word on the bottom, trying to get that in there, I keep seeing like the book of our life, you know, like sort of the hall of records, the Akashic records. I kept seeing this as a book, like a book that was open and emanating the true circle of who you are. You have so much in your toolbox, so much, that you're going to start with one thing and it's going to go to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. But I think animals are, for you, is the easiest way to start. Because you would do anything for animals. You would give your life for animals if you needed to. So it's going to be so passionate and conforming for you in some ways, and just allowing you to really then blossom into the true essence of who you are all the way around. And being able to come into your soul skin, like your truth and your perceptiveness and that connectedness with that hawk is just like, I definitely know that you have a totem animal with you that's called a hawk. That is a red-tailed hawk, because I keep seeing it and I keep seeing it around you. Call it in and start learning from it. Learn from that higher up vision, that intuitive vision that hawks tend to have. You know, shamans believed that they would give their messages to the eagle because the eagle is the bird that flies the highest. So they would give messages to eagle and the eagle would take it to spirit to give their messages to spirit. I don't know if you ever knew that, but it was something that somebody shared with me a long time ago. And hawks are very much an eagle. They can fly just as high. They can go just as beyond. And so it's learning their message, learning that connectedness for you. I think they're also here to help you evolve on that sight, that vision, and that connectedness with animals that you have. Very excited for you. Very, very excited for you. And animals, you know, we talk about our universe and how people need each other. Animals need us too. I think almost like animals need us more because there's too many out there, you know, that are just, I won't go into that, but you know, yeah. So I'm a big one for trying to save them as best I can. Unfortunately, I am a foster fail, so I can't foster them, but I will try to help them in any way that I possibly can. So yeah. So with that, I'm just going to pass it on to Colleen.
Thank
Okay.
you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you, Kathi. All right, Jan. So, you know, you similar to Amanda, but in a different way, you come in with a very interesting energy as well, because there's two hugely different sides to you. There's this side to you that you are born in Aries, right? April 9th. So Aries, leadership, take charge, passion, action, you know. But you also have this side to you that's very spiritual, that's very flowing, that's very intuitive and creative, and maybe even artistic in a way. But I agree with Kathi, you've got some immense healing abilities going on within you. And the fact that you're an Aries means that you could be like self-employed and be an entrepreneur and like do your own thing and create your own business in regards to what it is that you want to do. You come in with this kind of Christ consciousness energy. This is looking at, you know, kind of name vibration, the date of birth that you have and whatnot. And this is what we call a master number energy. And it doesn't mean master numbers are better than, you know, other numbers numerologically speaking, but this is a number of someone that has the essence that is very kind of Christ-like, or a healer, or a teacher. And so communication, all forms of communication and creative self-expression are very important for you in this lifetime. And expanding into those creative gifts, expanding into utilizing your voice, your communication. This is in the realm of the divine feminine. So again, we've got this masculine, feminine, where you're merging the two. And this is someone who's kind of like the mother, the nurturer, the healer, the intuitive, the caretaker even. And I agree with Kathi. Having this strong connection like with nature and the animals is probably greater for you than, you know, even connection to human beings. It doesn't mean you don't love human beings or that you're not compassionate or that you don't help them. But I just have this very kind of soft, kind of great mother nature, almost kind of energy about you. And again, with this Aries energy, it's like you can really make something happen in your life. They were showing me that you're in a cycle of energy starting on your birthday in April until next April. This is about growth. This is about expansion. This can be about prosperity and abundance and blessings of all kinds. The thing about this particular cycle of expansion is that we can expand into prosperity and abundance and blessings, but we can also, if we let our mind wander or spiral into kind of the negative, we can expand the fear and the anxiety as well. So we want to make sure that we're thinking glass half full instead of glass half empty and expanding into those. But this is a time period where they were showing me opportunities. And I don't know if the opportunity has already presented itself, but actually this month of July that we just went into is a time of new beginnings for you. So if you haven't already gotten the opportunity, I feel like this could be the month for an opportunity. It could also come in September, is what I'm hearing. So look for the opportunity to expand, the opportunity to create, the opportunity to create abundance and prosperity. They almost show you kind of walking over this bridge. And they're talking about this bridge being kind of like, you know, from one aspect of experience to a new aspect of experience. It's like an initiation, like I'm walking across the bridge into this initiation time period, into something new. And kind of like walking through that portal, which is interesting because today is 7/7 with the, 7/7 portal. Of course, August 8th, 8/8, we'll have the, another portal. So know that there's this portal of energy that you're walking into. They did give me blossoming abundance, which everybody loves to kind of hear that. So for you, this is a time again where abundance can be had and manifested. Now, keep in mind that it's not just about money and finances when it comes to abundance and prosperity. This could be other types of blessings, support from other people, referrals, love, kindness, new friends, and again, kind of that word opportunity. So new opportunities coming in. They were saying there's kind of attached to that idea of opportunities, there's also an opportunity to move into like new realms of happiness and joy, and even personal healing for yourself. But I definitely feel like this is somewhat of an active year, as opposed to like Amanda. Amanda was in a very internal yin year. This is kind of like an expansive, action-oriented yang or yang sort of year. And then they were giving me the phrase that you're going through an awakening, or you're going through a remembering regarding something. And I asked, what was that awakening all about? And they were saying, an awakening to your truth, an awakening to your like true expression. And they were showing me kind of this turquoise energy, which I relate to the throat chakra. So again, you're an Aries, right? Strong, confident, courageous, passionate. You come in with this energy of creative self-expression or communication in some way. And then they're showing throat chakra, turquoise colored energy. So making sure that your throat chakra is balanced and open and you're speaking your truth. I feel like that's attached to, again, part of who you're here to be in this lifetime, or what you're here to do is to share your wisdom, share your truth, share your ability to bring healing and love and compassion to other people. Because again, you have that kind of balance between that masculine action-oriented energy and that feminine, compassionate, unconditionally loving, healing sort of energy. So that's a little bit about what I got for you. I hope that was helpful.
That was amazing. Thank you both. That was profound.
Awesome. Thank you, Jan. And Kathi, you get to pick the next person. And this is probably gonna be our last person, but again, remember, there's nuggets of wisdom here for you. So go ahead, Kathi.
Let's see. Just making sure somebody came to me, and yeah, just making sure they're still on. So Dora was the person that kind of called to me.
Oh, she was the second person I was looking at after Jan, so I'm glad you picked
Oh,
Dora.
that's kind of funny.
That is funny. Dora, if you want to unmute yourself and give us your date of birth.
She's working on it. Hang on.
Yeah, I can ask her to unmute, I think.
Oh,
There we go.
okay. Hi, July 10th, 1972.
July 10th, 1972. And do you have a specific question or something to look at, or just see what your angels and guides have to say?
Whatever they want to tell me.
Whatever they want to say. All right, Kathi.
Well, I'm gonna say happy pre-birthday, because your birthday is the day before my birthday.
Oh,
So
yeah.
bonus for you. But the interesting thing is that I'm being guided to tell you to continue on your path. It was the very first thing, like I was focused on, asking them, just give me something for the next person that's going to be chosen. And I kind of knew I was going to be the next one to choose. So I was kind of like, already knew who I was going to choose. Who I was guided to, I guess I should put it that way. But there's a lot of like, this feeling of sort of stop and go, like almost like you start to get on your learning process, your travel, your journey, and then there's something that either stops you or you, for whatever reason, decide like, I'm gonna just back up for a minute and just take a minute. It's a lot of like what I was telling the other woman. It's almost like you hit that threshold And then it's like it's too big too soon. So you tend to sort of like you're seen, and then you tend to sort of fall back a little bit. There's a lot of it's interesting because this card is just pulling my awareness. This card is the calling of the soul. That's the name of that's the line that's on this card. And it just keeps pulling my attention and pulling my attention and pulling my attention to it, to really pull you in and really kind of unpiece that part of who you are, that healer that you are. You are a compassionate healer. And so it's almost like the trying to decipher between the emotions that you're feeling around you and sort of coming back into alignment with yourself, like saying, okay, it's funny, I do this sometimes for myself. If I've been to an event or I've been in a crowd, I always step back and say, are these my feelings? Are these my emotions? Is this my energy? And then I usually will get an answer. And if it's not mine, I'm like, okay, release this, take this away. It's almost like Calgon, take it away, back in the day with that phrase. But there's a lot of that. And then I also keep seeing rabbits around you. It must be a day for animals. I keep seeing rabbits around you, which I always go into the interpretation of what I think rabbits are. Rabbits tend to have a lot of rabbits. So there's like so many opportunities for you and so much gifts that you have, so many tools that you have around you that I keep seeing sort of like you have to sort of come in alignment, but that you're also a very lucky person, because it's the other thing that rabbits usually tend to mean to me, is that you're a very lucky person, and that everything that you always want somehow comes back around and will come to you no matter where you are, no matter what you do. But there is this point where they're asking you to sort of come, like step up to the temple, step forward, like connect with the divine will, that divine will that says, okay, this is why I'm here. This is what I'm meant to do. This is where I'm meant to be. And then don't let anything get in your way with that. It's sort of stepping into your power and sort of staying there. Doesn't mean that you have to beat everybody over the head with it. That's not quite what I mean. But it's allowing yourself to say, okay, this feels really good for me. I'm going to do what I can to continue on this, because I feel like it really resonates with me and helps me to feel good and helps me to feel more powerful in who I am. And so that connection is sort of like taking that leap of faith. I love the way that visuals come to me. So I'm just going to say that because they're making me laugh right at the moment. But they're actually showing me, I'm Irish, so I'm going to say that. They tend to show me things sometimes in Celtic terms, and they show me this redheaded woman just like being like, ah, like I'm going to be here. I'm going to stand in this power. This is who I am. This is who I'm going to be. And sort of screaming it to the rooftops. And that doesn't mean you have to quite take it to that extent, but they're talking about like, it's time for you you've awoken. So I'm not even going to say wake up. You've already awoken. It's now you sort of allowing yourself to come on the path. And that's the biggest thing, is giving yourself permission to continue to grow, to continue to evolve, to continue to learn, to keep going. I know from experience with you that, because I will say that I do know you, and that's coming back in, which I tend to forget everything I know about somebody when I do a reading for them. But they're showing me you sort of having sort of this like stop and go perspective, like you've learned other things to where you've been there, and then you tend to kind of step back and step away and allow almost like that swirling gremlin that's in your head to say, don't do that, you can't do that, you can't do that, you're not as good as that one, you're not as good as that, you're not as good as that. And it's that negative talk and that stinking thinking that goes on within us that allows us to sort of hold ourselves back. And there's a lot of beauty there for you. There's just like your intuition, your third eye is just expanding so fast that I know all of that clarity is coming to you. And I know that some of it is confusing, and some of it can really be pieced out. Like take a minute with it, take a minute with yourself, take a minute of like focusing on your third eye and expanding sort of like in that psychic, intuitive seer process that you have. The healing part is always going to be there. It's going to be there when you find yourself to get to it and to be able to stand with it. And so give yourself time, but really that's your thing. If financial parts is an issue, because I've heard that a lot with a lot of people, I totally understand it, then sit with yourself and do online meditations to expand your third eye, to expand your intuition, to really connect with who you are, and write. They keep showing me you like writing your experiences so that you can really sort of write it out, piece it out, writing to your angels in some way, writing, asking questions, writing, your experiences, timelines, dates, times, because that helps to know when you're really powerful. Your birthday coming up this year, and again, I'm not an astrologist, so let me make that perfectly clear. What I'm getting for your birthday year is a lot of learning and pulling and learning and pulling and expanding in that way. So by the time you get to the end of your birth year, this next birthday year, not your birth year, the next birthday year, it's like then you're ready to sort of like, okay, now I can step in and be out there and start moving and start really allowing myself to have the business part of what that brings. Oh, so I'm going to leave that there now that I'm out of breath, and I'm going to let Colleen come in.
Okay, Dora. So yeah, you come in with a highly spiritual energy. It's kind of like this internal wisdom. It's like I feel like you're an ancient seer, and you're coming in with all this past life, inner kind of wisdom. It's like this goddess priestess sort of energy. It's about heightened awareness and tapping in with more like the inner world than it is the outer world, but yet you have a strength and an independence and a take charge ability about you too. So again, you have these various facets, as a lot of us do. Um, they were showing that the moon is very important to you, but you are a Cancer, just like Kathi. So you are ruled by the moon in astrology. So paying attention to like the moon cycles, because we as astrologers know that the moon shifts into different signs of the zodiac every 2.5 days. It moves really quickly, which means your moods and your feelings and your emotions will fluctuate. For those of you out there that are Cancer sun sign, Cancer moon sign, Cancer ascendant sign, because the moon does rule our emotional bodies. And so it's always kind of fluctuating every 2.5 days, going into these different energies. So they're saying to maybe start paying attention to like the new moons, like this one was in your sign on Friday evening, the new moon in Cancer. Pay attention to the new and full moons and where it's occurring in your chart, or what that might mean for you and how the different energies are coming in. They're talking about karmic lessons in this lifetime for you are like home and family matters, as well as your own, again, emotions. And in regards to your emotions, they were talking about kind of like transcending or transmuting, moving out of fear energies, fear and anxiety energies, because our emotions, all of us, our emotions can get the best of us. Our emotional bodies are very difficult to kind of control sometimes. I don't know if I want to use that word, but for lack of a better way to say it, it's like we get caught up in these emotions and the emotional reactions that we have to what other people are doing and saying. And in this way, this is about, again, transcending any of those lower emotions, the frustrations or the anxieties, the fears again, and that you're here in part to kind of master the emotional body is how they're putting it. You're here to master the emotional body. And so this particular birthday year that's coming up is a very spiritual and internal one, sort of like, again, going back to Amanda and the birthday year cycle that she's in. That's the same feeling of energy that you're going into, self-reflective, meditative, connecting to my higher soul self, connecting to the mysteries of the universe, connecting to my inner wisdom and knowledge from ancient times or past lives. They're saying that you're very resourceful. And I feel like this is not just like physically resourceful, like, oh, I can find a solution to this problem and I can move through it, but also you're spiritually resourceful. So, again, this kind of deals with belief systems and patterns and shifting from, glass half empty to glass half full. And they're saying too that spiritually resourceful means you've got, again, the connection or assistance from your angels and guides, which we all do. But I feel like you have maybe an easier time than some other people might in connecting with those spiritual helpers, those spiritual resources. And that includes your own intuitive gifts and healing gifts as well. Talk about animal totems. The crow was coming in for you. So to me, all birds are messengers, but the crow has this feeling of mystery and magic to me associated with it. Actually, crow or raven is one of my overall totem animals as well. And so I feel like they're wanting you to pay attention to, over the course of this birthday year that you're in, pay attention to these divine messages of magic, mystery, inner wisdom, from the divine, and even from nature. And also because crows are black, they're a dark bird. This is about clearing away those fears, clearing away those anxieties, clearing away the shadow side of our own personality or personality characteristics during the course of this next upcoming year. So it doesn't have to be overnight or, in a month. You've got a whole birthday year to kind of tend to releasing the old, letting it go. And they were showing that you are kind of like an intuitive messenger. You are kind of like this oracle of divine wisdom. I don't know if you can, Kathi and I actually doing intuitive readings for other people. I don't know if it will take that course of action or unfolding or not. But just in your everyday communications and talking to other people, you just come out with these nuggets of wisdom, that kind of assist and help and support and guide other people, that comfort them. So don't discount that you have this ability within you. They were saying that connections around you, the emotional connections you have, home, family, friends, significant others, if you have like a romantic connection, the energy of these connections are very important, especially, I mean, they're always important for everybody, but especially for you in this next upcoming birthday year. It's going to be important to have positive people around you, positive, supportive people around you, because you might have time periods where you feel like retracting your energy or having some alone time, or maybe you're going through something emotionally and you want to have those people that will give you your space or be supportive. And the more you can have these loving, caring, nurturing connections around you, the more your light will shine. And especially by the end of this birthday year, as you move into July of next year, the more your light will, again, really be more vibrant and shine. And they were showing this combination this year as far as keywords to pay attention to between inspiration and motivation, which is interesting because this is a very internal yin year for you. So healing, intuition, creative, energies, artistic energies, inspired energies. So the inspiration part makes sense. The motivation, well, on a collective level, we're in an 8 universal year. So all of us in 2024 are in this 8 vibration, which is about motivation, taking charge, being authentic and in our authentic selves, or expressing authentically. So I think that's where the motivation keyword came in, that you're expressing that motivating energy through your creative inspiration or through your psychic inspiration this year. Okay, so I think that's all that I got. I hope that was helpful, Dora.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So Kathi, do you have any last words that you want to say?
Well, I want to thank you all for coming, of course.
Yes, of course.
Thank you all for being here today and supporting us for sure. And just remember, pretty much I think the consensus of what I keep hearing is we all need to sort of stand in our true light and not be afraid to venture forward on the path that we think is right for us. They will guide and shift you in that way. So if you want to connect with either Colleen or I, we do readings together like this. So we do offer that, or we will actually come to you, the two of us, and do a private reading for you. So I don't think we've ever mentioned that before. If you're looking for my website, I'm working on getting a Voices of Enlightenment website. My website is actually intuitivekat.com, which cat spelled with a K, just so you all know. So that's how you can find me. And I'm looking forward to being back here in a month with Colleen, my friend, who I've known for a while, and really am blessed and honored to be here for all of you today, for sure, and to be with her for today.
Thank you, everybody. And my website is Sacred Soul Empowerment. Again, the next Cards and Coffee is Sunday, August 4th. We thank all of you for attending. And yes, Kathi.
I have one more thing. If you enjoyed this, I also am working with, I call it the new generation. There are 3 women that I'm working with that we will be doing a live and free also Zoom on this coming Friday, the 12th of July. It is 6 p.m. It's an hour and a half long because there's, 4 of us. So it's an hour and a half long, where we do the same sort of thing. We don't quite give so much at the beginning as far as like our own inspiration as to what we're feeling. I might say a few words, but it really gives you a chance to know the new generation that's coming forward, who are amazing. These 3 women are just phenomenal. And I will proudly boast that one of them is my blood relative daughter, and one of them is who I call my adoptive daughter. And then one is also a daughter of learning. So I'll put it that way. So yeah, so I'm hoping that you'll all come and check us out on Friday night, the 12th. If you need the link, just private message me on Facebook, and I'd be happy to send you the link. Thank you, Colleen, for letting me do that.
Oh yeah, of course. And other events, classes, lectures, workshops also are listed on my meetup page, Sacred Soul Empowerment, same name as my website. So if you want to see any upcoming other events that are happening, as well as this next Cards and Coffee event that you could RSVP to, that's where you're going to find different things that I'm doing as well upcoming. So thank you again to everybody, sending you all lots of love and light. Happy full moon in Cancer energies, as well as 7/7 portal energies, and stay true and authentic to yourself, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.